I'm Bill Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. IAmA about COVID-19.
Hello, Mr. Gates. As an educator, what is something I can do for my students, especially for my low-income students who don't have access to technology during this time? I have tried to send reassuring emails, including cat pictures, but I worry about the educational impact, as well as the long-term impact to my students' well-being. Thank you.
It is a huge problem that schools will likely be shut down for the next few months. I am impressed by the creative approaches that many teachers are coming up with to teach remotely. If you are a teacher reading this, thank you for the work you're doing, but I know that not everyone is set up to teach remotely. There are a lot of good online resources out there, including https://u.news/6 https://u.news/ekfx5 illustrative https://u.news/col4e https://u.news/agli and https://u.news/mn5w9 Comcast and other internet connectivity providers are doing special program to help with access. Microsoft and others are working on getting machines out, but the supply chain is quite constrained. Unfortunately, low-income students will be hurt more by the situation than others, so we need to help any way we can.
Is there any chance that the 18-month timeline for development of a vaccine can be shortened, and by how much?
This is a great question. There are over 6 different efforts going on to make a vaccine. Some use a new approach called RNA, which is unproven. We will have to build lots of manufacturing for the different approaches, knowing that some of them will not work. We will need literally billions of vaccines to protect the world. Vaccines require testing to make sure they are safe and effective. Some vaccines, like the flu, don't for the elderly. The first vaccines we get will go to healthcare workers and critical workers. This could happen before 18 months if everything goes well, but we in Fauci and others are being careful not to promise this when we are not sure. The work is going at full speed.
Hi, Mr. Gates. In your opinion, after this pandemic comes to a close, however long that may be, what should be the first step we as a global community take so that we are better prepared for the next pandemic?
That TED link expired. I did in 2015 talked about this. We need to have the ability to scale up diagnostics, drugs and vaccines very rapidly. The technologies exist to do this well if the right investments are made. Countries can work together on this. We did create CEPI Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness https://u.news/2mucky, which did some work on vaccines, but that needs to be funded at higher level to have the standby manufacturing capacity for the world.
What do you think of the current approach the Netherlands is currently taking to combat this virus? They are not going to a full lockdown, but rather try to spread it controllably in order to work towards herd immunity.
The only model that is known to work is a serious social distancing effort, shutdown. If you don't do this, then the disease will spread to a high percentage of the population and your hospitals will be overloaded with cases. So this should be avoided despite the problems caused by the shutdown. If a country doesn't control its cases, then other countries will prevent anyone going into or coming out of that country. I think the Netherlands will end up doing what other countries are doing.
Can you explain briefly what most Americans can do to help other Americans in this moment of crisis?
A big thing is to go along with the shutdown approach in your community so that the infection rate drops dramatically to let us go back to normal as soon as possible. Some people, like healthcare workers, will be doing heroic work and we need to support them. We do need to stay calm even though this is an unprecedented situation.
Bill, thank you for taking the time to do this today. I live in Seattle, like you, and it feels like our testing has not increased. Our number of confirmed cases are starting to lag behind other states. What do you think gives? Effective social distancing or lack of testing?
The testing in the US is not organized yet. In the next few weeks, I hope the government fixes this by having a website you can go to find out about home testing and kiosks. Things are a bit confused on this right now. In Seattle, the U of W is providing thousands of tests per day, but no one is connected to a national tracking system. Whenever there is a positive test, it should be seen to understand where the disease is and whether we need to strengthen the social distancing. South Korea did a great job on this, including digital contact tracing.
What about the current crisis worries you the most? What gives you the most hope?
The current phase has a lot of the cases in rich countries. With the right actions, including the testing and social distancing, which I call shutdown, within 2 to 3 months the rich countries should have avoided high levels of infection. I worry about all the economic damage, but even worse will be how this will affect the developing countries who cannot do the social distancing the same way as rich countries, and whose hospital capacity is much lower.
How long will this go on?
This will vary a lot by country. China is seeing very few cases now because their testing and shutdown was very effective. If a country does a good job with testing and shutdown, then within 6 to 10 weeks they should see very few cases and be able to open back up.
Won't a rebound happen after the shutdown ends?
It depends on how you deal with people coming in from other countries, and how strong the testing effort was. So far in China, the amount of rebound being seen is very low. They are controlling people coming into the country very tightly. Hong Kong, Taiwan and Singapore have all done a good job on this. If we do it right, the rebound should be fairly small in numbers.
What about the New York Times report that just came leaking a government document saying this will be 18 months with multiple waves?
There are many models to look at what will happen. That article is based on a set of assumptions derived from influenza, and it doesn't match what has happened in China or even South Korea. So we need to be humble about what we know, but it does appear that social distancing with testing can get the cases down to low levels.
But when they open back up is not like starting over? The total number of cured versus those who can still be infected is still small.
The goal is to keep the number infected to a small percentage. In China, less than 0.01% of the population was infected because of the measures they took. Most rich countries should be able to achieve a low level of infections. Some developing countries will not be able to do that.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.